We see you. Once a social butterfly, now a social distancer. Once a doctor without borders, now a doctor with barriers and a face shield. We see you getting up and going to work, at the kitchen table, staying up past midnight just to get some time to yourself. Going out to get fresh air for your sanity, worried you'll bring back something else. We see you, a 20-something graduate having a birthday party for one, giving the elderly widow next door a call for a chat. We see you with a PhD in really smart stuff, getting your PhD in really hard stuff, like wearing a mask with glasses, stepping on something sticky, stepping into the role of teacher, stepping into scrubs, into harm's way. We see you, and we want to say thank you, because success, while it looks a lot different now, is always better shared. We've always been proud of our members, but right now, we've never been prouder.
That's right. We see you professionals. All of you. We see the doctors, we see the engineers, the accountants, the architects, and so many more who form the think tank that powers us forward through not only the COVID-19 crisis, but also on our path to development and prosperity as a nation. We understand professionals, and we've built our business around you. So welcome and thank you for joining for the fourth installment of our series entitled Future-Proofing the Graduate Professional. A special word of welcome to our members and to the intermediaries. PPS is all about graduate professionals. We are the largest mutual insurer in South Africa, and we exist solely to serve our professional members, who, unlike clients of other insurers, are actually owners of our business and share in its profits. My name is Marlon Goss, and I'm head of PPS Specialist Support Services, which provides technical advice and financial planning support to our intermediaries and, of course, to our members. The session today is entitled Asset Protection in Times of Uncertainty. We're going to start off by exploring the impact that COVID-19 has had on the short-term insurance industry, as well as any likely future trends. Then we move on to your short-term insurance schedule, where we are going to focus on helping you to read and to understand it, while pointing at specific factors that you should be on the lookout for. Lastly, we'll be answering the question, why PPS short-term insurance? We scheduled for an hour. We're going to use the first 40 minutes to get through our content, and thereafter we'll open the floor to questions. Please note that all mics, other than those of the co-presenters, are switched off. Please use the chat function for your questions, and feel free to fire them off at any time during the session. Please note, however, that we'll only be addressing them during the allocated slot. The slides are available directly at any time throughout the session. Please have a look on the right side of your screen. You'll find an icon called Files. By clicking on Files, you'll get an option to share or to download the slides in PDF for today. Of course, as always, we want to keep the session lively and interactive. So throughout the session, we'll be running live polls, and we encourage our viewers to please participate. Lastly, we're running a special offer, and so please be on the lookout for that, and more on that a bit later on. Joining me today, we have Werner Bosman, Wilma van der Walt, and Malcolm Vining from PPS Short-Term Insurance. Colleagues, please introduce yourselves to our audience, starting with you, Wilma.
Hi, my name is Wilma van der Walt, and I'm the executive responsible for customer experience and operations at PPS Short-Term Insurance. I've been involved in the financial and insurance industry for over 4 years, from which some of these were spent in other African countries. I joined PPS Short-Term Insurance in January 2019, and I'm looking forward to spending the next 60 minutes with you.
Thanks, Wilma. Malcolm?
Hi, my name is Malcolm Vining. I'm the Executive of Distribution and Marketing. I've been in financial services for the last 22 years. I joined PPS in 2018 and looking forward to spending this time with our listeners.
Thanks, Malcolm. Werner?
Hi, everyone. I'm Werner Bosman. I'm the CEO of PPS Short-Term Insurance. I'm a chartered accountant by profession, and I've been in financial services for 20 years. I joined PPS in 2017, and prior to that, I worked at Barclays Africa.
Okay, awesome. Now, viewers, just for the sake of clarity, please don't be confused. I'm not like a mini-me version of Werner, just because we share the same hairstylist. So just for clarity before we go on. Colleagues, thank you, and a warm word of welcome to you as well. Viewers, as usual, we have a lot of content to get through, so let's get to it. Now, COVID-19 has made an indelible impact on most industries, and short-term insurance is no exception. Werner, please take our viewers through how the pandemic has impacted short-term insurance and PPS short-term insurance in particular.
Thank you, Marlon, and a big thank you from the PPS Short-Term Insurance team to our listeners joining us today. Yes, COVID-19 has indeed impacted each and every one of us. We have observed some key shifts in consumer behavior as a result of COVID-19 during this time. And we do expect they will significantly shape the way we do things going forward as well. I would like to highlight these 4 themes to you. The first one is people are driving less. During the full lockdown, consumers were only able to use their vehicles for essential services or for buying groceries. This meant that some households with more than one vehicle most likely only used one vehicle and for limited kilometers. As lockdown eases across the country, some consumers are returning to work, but many will continue to work remotely at least some of the time. We do expect this trend to continue even after the COVID-19 pandemic. If consumers use their vehicles less, they would expect to pay lower premiums for the insurance as the risk is lower. The second key area is people spend more time at home, and this one goes hand in hand with the previous theme. Most businesses are also busy reviewing their operating models as they realize now that it's possible to operate on a virtual basis. This gives more flexibility to employees to work from home where it makes sense to do so. Businesses could therefore potentially give up some office space over time as they create more flexible working environments. And this likely move to a more virtual and remote working environment means that insurers need to adapt their offerings to cater for this. The third big one for us is a rising conscious consumption. So COVID-19 has really been a wake-up call for all of us. We would have anticipated the impact this would have on businesses and consumers alike. Consumers are now a lot more aware of what they spend their money on and also the value they get for that spend. The fourth key one for us is using digital to connect. COVID-19 has really accelerated the move to digital channels to connect. Online shopping is a good example, and we do expect this trend will permeate other areas as consumers move to more digital and self-service type solutions.
Further, now for many of us being at home, it's resulted in a sharp increase of what we can only call conspicuous consumption. So, those of us who are salaried and were fortunate enough to receive their full salaries will certainly attest that at the end of each lockdown month, we certainly had more money left in month. And consequently, my wife got a new tumble dryer, the girls got new scooters, and I got a thank you. Nothing else, really. Of course, all of this is good for PPS. But then, of course, there's also many more who, due to the failing or the ailing economy, are finding themselves in increasing levels of financial distress, while being at home working and, of course, being at home under the lockdown restrictions. The insurance risk for PPS short-term insurance has, of course, decreased. Tell our viewers how we've compensated our members for this decrease in risk.
Yes, indeed, Marlon. We have definitely experienced a decline in vehicle-related claims during the lockdown period as a result of members using their vehicles less during this time. So we at PPS decided to give a 20% discount to our members on their motor vehicle premiums for the month of April. Over and above that, we have highly skilled agents that are ready and are assisting members on an individual basis where needed. I'm going to highlight some areas that consumers could consider to lower their insurance premiums, but do please consult with your broker or with one of our skilled agents if you decide to take up any of these. So some of the areas that consumers could consider are amending vehicle cover to third-party fire and theft on a temporary basis. Where your vehicle is insured for business purposes, consider amending the cover to private use only. Consumers could explore options to responsibly adjust excesses to reduce their premiums. Comprehensive home contents cover could potentially be amended to limited cover. And all risk items such as sunglasses or binoculars can be removed from cover. I do want to reiterate, please consult with your broker, one of our agents, if you consider any of them.
Absolutely. We encourage our members to speak to their brokers so they can make informed decisions. Now, Werner, what the amount of time that our members have been spending at home, working from home, etc.? Certainly, we must have seen a drop in vehicle crime-related incidents. What has our own sort of claims experience been like?
Yes, Marlon, we've seen some interesting statistics around vehicle theft during this time. So if you look at the graphs on the screen, specifically the top left graph, this graph reflects vehicle recovery statistics from Tracker for the period pre, during, and post-lockdown. And as expected, you will note that there was a significant reduction in the first 3 weeks of lockdown. With the easing of lockdown to level 4 in early May, there was a 6-fold increase again in vehicle-related crime within the first week. We are therefore starting to see a return to normal levels of vehicle crime as the lockdown eases. The bottom graph reflects vehicle crime split into theft versus hijackings as a percentage. Interesting to note here is that there has been a proportionately higher hijackings versus vehicle theft during the lockdown period. So a key message to consumers out there is please be vigilant. Just because the country is in lockdown does not mean the criminals are in lockdown.
Absolutely. Members, viewers, please be safe. Fairness, what does this all likely mean for the future of short-term insurance, both locally and globally?
Marlon, this is quite interesting. What this means is that the operating model that served us as insurers so far will have to change for us to remain relevant in this new world. So how should insurers respond? And I want to highlight 4 key areas. The first one is consumers will demand more pay-as-you-use and pay-how-you-use type insurance solutions going forward. Now, bring this back to our discussion on vehicles that we had earlier. Consumers would like to pay lower premiums when their vehicles are not used as often. The second one is consumers will demand more flexible and on-demand type solutions when insuring their assets, supported by real-time dynamic pricing. The third key theme is insurers will differentiate themselves by offering excellent customer experience and also enhanced value over and above the normal insurance products. Now, we'll highlight some of the enhanced value that we offer to PPS Short-Term Insurance members at the moment. And the fourth key theme that we expect is that consumers will expect seamless digital experiences 24/7.
Werner, thank you. Thank you for your insights on current and future trends within the short-term insurance industry. So perhaps just in closing from your side, tell our professional viewers why they should consider PPS short-term insurance.
Well, thank you. Yes, we do offer something quite unique to the professionals in the market. And there are really 3 key things that differentiates us in the marketplace. The first one is we only serve professionals. This focus allows us to really tailor solutions exclusively to the specific needs for the professional market. The second aspect that makes us unique is that we operate under the ethos of mutuality. We do not have outside shareholders like a listed companies. In normal businesses listed on the stock exchange, once expenses are paid and valid claims are honored, profits are generated that belong to the shareholders. At PPS Group, these profits are shared with our members. There is therefore no leakage of dividends to outside shareholders. It is therefore not the focus of our claims personnel to protect the interest of outside shareholders. It is important for us to honor valid claims for our members. All income from premiums and investment returns after paying for the cost of running the business is eventually returned to our members, either as claims when unfortunate happens or as additions to their profit share account. The third thing that makes us different is that we are here exclusively for the benefit of our members. Our main purpose is to add value in the lives of our members.
Awesome, Werner. I must agree. Our claim to fame is indeed mutuality. Thanks, Werner. Viewers, the last lot of our session will focus specifically on PPS Short-Term Insurance's unique features and benefits. So more on that a bit later on. We are about to launch our very first poll and also our special offer. So if you'll please take your eyes and cross it onto the right-hand side of your screen to your control panel, please select the polls icon. And for our first poll, we'd like to know whether you as viewers or as members of PPS Short-Term Insurance were aware of our COVID relief options. So the first option is, yes, I was aware. Option number 2 says, no, I was not aware. And our last option says, no, I was not aware. And I need to speak to someone about temporarily making my policy more affordable. So viewers, I encourage you to go there now and complete the poll. We'll be running it for the next few minutes. And then also simultaneously, we're going to be launching our special offer. And with this special offer, we want to encourage our viewers to take up our offer to experience the full power of mutuality. By selecting the offer and by completing the form, you'll be completing a application for a quote or for a compatible insurance quote. So I encourage you to please complete the form so that you can learn a bit more about our short-term insurance offering. And of course, next up, we'll be discussing something that confuses most of us. I must confess that even me as a CFP professional, I struggle to read and understand the short-term insurance schedule. How much more won't the public, who for all intents and purposes are insurance laymen? Fortunately, we have invited Wilma to take us through this topic and to highlight some of the more important aspects of your schedule that you really need to take note of. Wilma, welcome once again.
Thanks, Marlon. I think an important note to make is that we all need to understand what makes up our insurance contract, and the schedule forms a very important part of this. Your short-term insurance schedule, the terms and conditions of your policy together with any other correspondence sent to you, as well as any verbal agreements made, are what your short-term insurance contract are made of. The schedule itself personalizes your insurance policy by identifying you, the insured, and also describes specific risk parameters. If one looks at the most common section of a short-term policy, a couple of things to be aware of. Let's start with buildings. This section covers the financial cost to repair damage to the physical structure of your property in the event of damage or theft. This usually includes the roof, floors, and walls, as well as fitted or permanent fixtures like building cupboards. Most policies will also protect outbuildings within the property grounds, such as a garage. It is, however, important to take note of the exclusions of your policy, as some insurance companies might not cover things like boundary walls, gravel roads, or buildings where business activities are performed. Some important notes that you can look out for on your schedule are if your roof structure is reflecting correctly. In other words, make sure your insurance company knows if you have a lapa and or a thatch roof, and this is noted on your schedule correctly. Geysers. Some insurance companies note these specifically on your schedule. How many geysers do you have in your house, and do they need to be specified? Do you have a solar or a gas geyser? Are there any limits attached to these geysers on your schedule, as this might mean you only have a certain amount that you can claim for when you have geyser trouble? Then power surge is another very important one. Please take note. These days, since load shedding, this is quite an important cover, as you need to know what is the limit for power surge. Is this a standard amount, or do you have the option to buy up on this cover? If we look at household contents, unfortunately, people sometimes confuse home contents insurance and building insurance. When they see home contents, they assume this is the building and everything in it. It is important to make sure that both sections reflect on your schedule if you need both to be insured. Home contents is everything in your house that you will typically take with you when you move. Some important information under this section that must always be correct are address where the items are kept. This is your residential address. The type of security at your home. Is there a linked alarm? Is there burglar bars, security doors? Some insurers even wants to know how many dogs you have. How long the property will be unoccupied at one time during a year? Is it just 1 week in December, or is it 30 days? Make sure you are aware what the conditions and exclusions are under this section of the policy to enjoy the full cover of this section.
Now, Wilma, you mentioned home content valuations, and I wish I had taken the time to read and understand my own short-term schedule before my last claim. I think it was about 4 years ago or so. We had a break-in, and of course, like many other people, I chose to cover the minimum amount possible under my policy. And when the insured event occurred, the burglary, I was quite disappointed when I received the claim. This, of course, because the amount I chose was actually a fraction of the replacement cost of all of my household contents. So average kicked in, and viewers will cover this in quite a bit more detail later on.
Yes, Marlon, it's quite important to be insured for the correct amount. Malcolm will share with you what benefits we at PPS Short-Term Insurance do have in place for our members to assist them in this regard. Let's look at all risk. This section has two parts to it, and it's important that if you choose to have both, that it reflects correctly on your schedule. The one is the basic all risk, where you choose one amount that is adequate for your personal belongings that you usually take out of your house. In a case of a claim, you can then claim under this section up to this amount you choose, but limited to a specific amount per item. Again, this amount will reflect on your schedule, and it's important to take note of this. The second part is usually called specified all risk. This is where you have a specific item valued for a specific amount that will not be covered under your normal all risk section. Items can vary from a piece of jewelry to a bicycle.
Okay, now Wilma, just now correct me if I'm wrong. So all risk is insurance for your possessions, and that's typically the stuff that you carry on your person. How is this different from specified items? And if I have specified, do I need all risk and vice versa?
Yes, Marlon, you might. In both these cases, items that you will carry with you and take out of your home is all risk items. The difference lies in the value of the items and also in what your policy terms and conditions stipulate. As some items might have a lower value, but will only be covered if it's specified, as it will be clear in exclusion under the all risk policy. For instance, cell phones. Let's go over to vehicles. Very important, make sure you know what your vehicle excesses are. It is important to check if there's a different excess for theft and for damage, for example. Is the excess on a vehicle claim a flat rate, or is it calculated as a percentage of the loss or damage? Your schedule reflects this. What is the value type cover you have on your vehicle? Trade, retail, or market value? At PPS Short-Term, we only insure vehicles for retail and or agreed values. The agreed values is for those classical vehicles that some of our members have. Very important to check and make sure the regular or principal driver of the vehicle on your policy are noted correctly on your schedule. People are sometimes not sure what this means. It is thus important to note that the person who drives the vehicle or makes use of the vehicle most often or more frequently than any other person are the person who will have to be noted as the regular driver. And again, it might not be the owner of the vehicle, but the child, the son, the mother. The name of the designated regular driver or principal driver will show on the schedule of the insurance very clearly. Make sure about car hire. Is this included in your cover, or can you choose to have this covered? You also need to make sure you select the correct group. Normally, Group B is a small manual vehicle with an aircon, but perhaps you can only drive an automatic vehicle. What's the use then to have a Group B car hire on your policy? The use of your vehicle is then also very important, as you will pay more for using the vehicle for business purposes. This is because you will be on the road more often than someone using a vehicle for private use only.
Okay, so before you carry on, Wilma, viewers, we're going to be closing our first poll shortly, and let's just go through some of the results. Those of you that haven't completed it yet, I encourage you to please do so. So for the first poll, we wanted to know whether or not our viewers are aware of PPS Short-Term Insurance's COVID relief options. The first response, and this can only mean one thing, Malcolm, Werner, and Wilma, that 72% of our viewers are saying yes, they were. So our supporting intermediaries, our short-term advisors are doing a sterling job at managing those relationships and making sure that our viewers are getting an awesome deal. 26% of our viewers are saying no, they weren't, and 1% more are saying no, they were not, and they really need to speak to somebody about making changes to their policy to make it more affordable. So, viewers, before we continue, I implore you, those of you that haven't participated, please participate now. We are about to close our first poll. Wilma, over to you again. Back to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Marlon. Some other important factors to note in your short-term insurance schedule are things like excesses. This is the first amount payable by an insured in an event of a claim. These excesses will be reflected under each section of your cover, and it's important to look at these and make sure you will be able to afford paying these in an event of a claim. As some companies will offer very low monthly premiums that require substantial excess for a claim. At PPS, you can also choose to pay a higher excess for paying a lower premium, but you should make the choice, not us.
Now, Wilma and viewers, this is quite important. Insurers often increase excess in order to lower your premium, which is perfectly normal. And of course, it's common practice in the industry. What I think is important here is that our viewers understand that they understand firstly the excess and also the trade-off between excess and premium. Now, viewers, please check your schedule so that you understand the extent to which you are effectively self-insuring via excess payments. If you're not sure, please contact your advisor or broker or the PPS Short-Term Insurance Direct hotline if you do not have one.
Thanks, Marlon. Another area to check on your schedule is conditions and endorsements noted on your schedule. These are usually added provisions to your insurance policy that change the policy terms and conditions. These are initiated by your insurance company to change or vary the cover offered under a specific section of your policy. It can also be prompted by means of you adding or removing items from your policy or change the value of an item. Then, I just would like to touch on the risk. The risk is important to know that in order to perform its function, a short-term insurance company must assess the risk that it intends providing cover for and price correctly for that risk. A true assessment of the risk includes the size of the risk, which means the amount of compensation the insurer will have to pay following a risk event, which is actually a claim, and identifying the risk factors that might result in a loss. Lastly, the insurance company will also look at the expected frequency and severity of such a loss. Premiums are risk profile specific and will determine the premium you as a client pay. Your risk profile is determined by several factors, from which I will just mention a few. Firstly, your age and driving record. Gender. All of you know that females usually pay lesser for the insurance. The value of the vehicle, the type of vehicle, including any modifications and accessories, the use of the vehicle, like I mentioned previously, the place or location of where the vehicle will be parked when not in use, the security system protecting the car, and obviously your insurance and claims history. It is very important to note that each risk profile is individually calculated and premiums may vary from person to person.
Now, viewers, this explains why premiums advertised for short-term insurance cover, the stuff you typically see on the TV. It's never quite the same as when you phone in specifically for your own quote. Now, all policyholders are risk rated according to their own circumstances. And Wilma, the next item on your list is average. And that's something I learned about, of course, the hard way. You know the story. Please explain to our viewers what this means in the event of a claim.
Marlon, what it means is that you need a broker to help you to not be underinsured. Average is what gets applied in a case of you having a claim and you not having adequate insurance cover to put you back in the same position than what you were in before the loss occurred. This is what we call underinsurance. When you as a policyholder is underinsured and suffers a loss, the payout will be less than the cost to replace the item or items. The same holds for payouts for repairs to damage for items due to compensation being lesser than what it does cost to repair this item. This means that if the value of the insured property at the time of the loss or damage is greater than the sum insured as reflected on your schedule, the claim will only be paid proportionally in line with the percentage of the underinsurance. It is also important to know that average only comes into play when a partial loss occurs. A total loss will simply be compensated according to the sum insured as specified on your policy schedule.
Okay, Wilma, thank you. Thanks for that walk through some of the more important and often overlooked aspects of our short-term insurance schedule. Now, viewers, we are about to launch our second poll. And for the second poll, we want to know when last you reviewed your short-term schedule. Of course, from Wilma's discussion, you can see it's actually critical that we fairly regularly have a look at this. Your options are A, you review annually, which is fantastic. B, you've reviewed within the last 2 years or 24 months. And then C, the horrible option, which says that you can't remember when last you reviewed and you actually need help from somebody. Then also at this point, I want to encourage you once again to take advantage of our special offer. We want to encourage our viewers to take advantage of the full power of mutuality, and then also to get a comparative quote around PPS Short-Term Insurance's value proposition. Right, so understanding your short-term schedule is vital in ensuring that you get what you think you're paying for from your short-term insurance company. Short-term insurance can be complex, and it's vital that you speak to an accredited short-term insurance advisor that can help you to make informed decisions on how to select a short-term insurance solution that best suits your individual asset protection needs. Now, the world of the professional, we know, is very different from non-professionals. It's very busy for one. Time comes at a much higher premium than with most other vocations. And of course, at PPS, we understand this well. Professionals are all we serve. For our last slot, Malcolm is going to take us through some of the more unique aspects of our short-term insurance value proposition and how we've tailored our product so that it meets the specific requirements of the modern professional. Now, Malcolm, tell us what makes PPS short-term insurance so different at least from other insurers.
Yes, thanks, Marlon. I think PPS is very different from other insurers as we exclusively for the graduate professional. And this allows us to tailor our products and value propositions to specifically meet their unique needs. At PPS, we also subscribe to the ethos of mutuality, which Werner touched on earlier. And I think most importantly, we exist to protect the assets of our members, and we pride ourselves in paying their valid claims, giving them peace of mind when an incident or loss happens.
Okay, so yes, I agree 100%, and I'm sure our members will too. Mutuality is indeed our claim to fame. Now, tell us a bit more about the unique features and benefits of the PPS short-term insurance policy that's been exclusively designed for the graduate professional.
Yes, Marlon, we have a number of unique product features exclusively for the graduate professional, and I'm going to mention a handful of them which maybe come to mind. The first one, which would have helped you when you had your claim 4 years ago, is we offer free surveys to our members for household contents above 1.5 million and buildings above 5 million, giving them peace of mind that they are correctly insured and to avoid an over or under insurance situation. What this means is we'll send an assessor to your property to ensure that we go through everything on your behalf and give you recommendations on what that content's value should be to inform correct cover. And secondly, because we understand that professionals' personal and professional lives are often intertwined, we provide them with 100,000 Rands business equipment cover standard within their personal lines policy, which I'm sure you agree is a fantastic option. Another unique feature is that we offer our professionals 500 kilometers business use on their vehicles within their personal lines policy at no additional premium. And as most of us know, business use insurance rates are significantly more expensive than personal. So another great benefit. We also have a flexible excess structure, which allows our members to tailor their insurance to their specific needs or their budgets. We guarantee our premiums, Marlon, for 12 months, regardless of the claims within that period that a member has submitted. And Wilma spoke about power surge. Given the intermittent electricity and power in our country, we give our members 10,000 Rand power surge immediately included free of charge, as well as we have many options for them to increase their limits depending on the assets within their house. Marlon, these are only a few features within our policy, and I would encourage our listeners to talk to one of our qualified specialists or their broker to discuss the additional value we can provide to them, specific to their needs and their asset requirements.
Okay, well, Malcolm, I quite like the the business stuff, the business use benefit, and of course also the business equipment, because of course the market we serve are professionals, so those things are relevant. And then, of
Exactly.
course, power surge as well, I think is a big one. Specifically in Gauteng, where these things are common. You know, in the Republic of Cape Town, we live in a different environment, so perhaps it's not such a big factor. But nevertheless, I mean, bells and whistles are fabulous. We all like bells and whistles. But I mean, take us through the moment of truth. Specifically, we want to understand, if I claim, will you pay? And how else are you going to help me as a professional member, through the entire process?
Sure, Marlon. I think that's a great question. Obviously, all of us have insurance in order to cover our assets when we have a claim. But often this is not the case. But as PPS, being a mutual, we exist exclusively for our members to protect their assets and pay their valid claims. So being insured with PPS short-term insurance, I think it gives you that peace of mind that we don't look for reasons not to pay your claims. On top of the obvious of us paying your claims, we have a number of additional services that can assist our professional members if they do experience a loss or an incident. I think the first great one is we offer our members guarding services. So should the access to their property have been compromised during an incident or a loss, we'll provide them guarding services to protect them and their family. Marlon, we also give our members storage after damage. A lot of the storms that you would have known have occurred over the last couple of years could have damaged members' roofs. We offer them storage immediately included in their policy to ensure that additional items aren't damaged. And should one of our members be permanently disabled, their policy will immediately pay for special alterations to their residence to make it wheelchair accessible, to allow them to continue to live their normal lives, which I think is a significantly great advantage and unique feature. A simple one like locks and keys. We have a limit of 20,000 Rand for locks and keys. And I know this sounds like a very strange one to be discussing. But if you think maybe as a professional, your handbag is stolen and your car key is in there. Have you ever thought what it would cost you to replace an Audi, a BMW, a Mercedes-Benz key? On average, it costs 17,500 Rand to replace these keys. And many insurers provide a significantly lower limit than us. And I would encourage our members to go and have a look at their schedule to make sure that they are adequately covered. Marlon, to protect our members as well, we offer a full range of SOS services, which includes roadside assist for when you break down on the side of the road, home assist when you have an emergency within your household, as well as medical assist to take care of our members in their time of need. These services are 24/7 and 365.
Awesome. So Malcolm, you know, I think the industry has moved on, and insurance can no longer just be about insurance. Consumers are demanding more. Talk to us about value adds. Do you have any exclusive value adds that have been designed specifically with the modern professional in mind?
Yes, Marlon. I think Vadna mentioned it earlier that members and professionals are looking for greater value adds over and above the traditional insurance covers. And I think on the back of that, we've launched some absolutely awesome value adds. And the first one to talk about, given COVID-19, is given the rise of virtual offices and online shopping, we've introduced Identity Protect. And what Identity Protect does, it alerts our members whenever their ID numbers are being used online for credit applications. So this allows them to take early action and to avoid fraud on their profiles, which we all know is very difficult to rectify. We also know time is precious for our professionals, and so we've introduced license renewal and fine protect to save them time. What license renewal does, it means we will collect your car license disc on your behalf and drop it off at your business or residence, whichever is convenient for you. Our members can also use our Fine Protect portal where they can view and settle their fines directly through our app, allowing them peace of mind that they won't be stopped with outstanding fines on the road. We also pride ourselves, Marlon, in going beyond protecting our members' assets to protecting their families with our newly introduced Protect Me panic button, which is unique to the market, which means that should anyone in the family feel unsafe, they can push the panic button on our app, which is linked to the top 5 security companies nationally. and the nearest security guard will be dispatched to protect them. Marlon, the great feature of this app is it's similar to the look and feel of Uber. As you hit the panic button, you can actually see the security vehicle tracking towards you with the estimated time to reach you, which is normally minutes, ensuring that your family is safe whenever they are in a dangerous situation. And the last value add I'd like to mention, Marlon, is that we offer chauffeur services as well as take me home services for our members. Most of us know what take me home is, where you have an evening out and you need somebody to drive you home in your own vehicle. We'll dispatch teams to drive you and your vehicle home. And we've introduced chauffeur services as well, which means that if you need an airport drop-off early one morning or airport pickup, free of charge, you can log the request on our app, and we'll send a chauffeur service to come and pick you up and make sure that you get home safely. Marlon, hopefully from the value adds and unique features that we've mentioned today, you can see that PPS is exclusively for the graduate professionals. And I would like to encourage our members online and listeners to leave their details under the offer tab so we can help them compare and see if they're getting the best deal in the market.
Okay, thanks, Malcolm. And I'm sure usage and take-up of the chauffeur service at least is going to pick up quite sharply now as we enter into lower, more relaxed lockdown restrictions. Viewers, it brings us to the end of our content. Just before we go to our Q&A session, I want us to have a look at the result of our final poll. So for those of you that haven't gone there yet, please go there now. And what we wanted to know is when last have you reviewed your short-term insurance schedule? The good news, Werner, is that your supporting intermediaries are bulletproof. 83% of them are reviewing their members annually. Isn't that amazing? That's fantastic. Then within the last 24 months, 9% of our viewers are saying that they've reviewed within the last 24 months. Bit dodgy. Perhaps it's time to pick up the phone and get hold of your financial advisor. And then lastly, I can't remember, and I need to speak to someone that can help me. 6% of our audience is saying that they need help. They can't remember when last they've reviewed their schedule. So it's important that viewers, I think that you guys actually get that schedule reviewed so that you can make sure that you neither over or under insurance, underinsured at least, and so that you can ensure that you get the best value and the value that you deserve from your short-term insurance policy. So now we're going to move on to the second part of our talk today, and of course that is our Q&A session. So members and viewers, I'm going to ask that you forgive me. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not poking people. I'm looking at some of the questions that have been thrown at us from our viewers. So I'm going to start with the first question. And this one is from Riyad Taub. Riyad Taub wants to know, and I think, Malcolm, this one is for you. Riyata wants to know, can I send my schedule for you to do a comparison quote instead of being on the phone for a lengthy time?
Marlon, absolutely. We know time is precious for our graduate professionals. If you send us through your current insurance schedule and just confirm that the details haven't changed, we'll prepare the quote in advance and then phone you back and discuss the details, ensuring that you can use your time for the things that are important to you.
Okay, awesome. Absolutely, I must agree. I mean, time is money, even more so for our professionals. Thanks, Riyad, for that question, and thanks, Malcolm. I think the next one we're going to fire off to you, Wilma. This one is from a Ricky Pooney. I think I said that right. Please forgive me if I didn't. Ricky wants to know, where people have multiple vehicles, are non-nominated drivers penalized if they're driving one of the other vehicle in a client's vehicle? So in other words, somebody else is driving, it's not necessarily the nominated driver.
Thank you. Ricky, as long as the person's got a valid driver's license and the person is not the one that's the regular driver of the vehicle, they will not be penalized, but you must make sure in your schedule there is additional excesses for people under certain ages. Most of the insurance companies have those, and it might be 25. Some companies work on 21 years old. But as long as the person is not a regular driver and is just using it a once off or now and again, it is not a problem. We won't have a problem with that. There might just be, depending on the age of the person, additional excess applicable.
Okay, thanks for that, Wilma. Ricky, thank you for your question. We hope we answered it. The next one, we're just going to make it even, Steven, Werner. So we're going to chuck this one in your direction, and because I'm generous, I'm still going to go two. That's both of them are from a Shailesh Raji, and Shailesh wants to know, kindly advise what annual increases are applicable and at what point or dates. In other words, do we have any kind of history on that? And then the second part of his question is, are there additional increases after a claim has been processed?
No, Marlon, thank you. So I can maybe just normally annual increases happen on the anniversary of your policy. So when you take out your policy at a certain date, the next year, the same time that renewal will kick in. As Malcolm mentioned in these slides, one of the things we guarantee when you join us is for the first 12 months, we will guarantee your premium. So there won't be any increases for the first 12 months, irrespective of claims. But then when it comes to annual renewal, we do look at policies on an individual basis. So if there's multi-claimant, things like that, we have to address it in the increases itself.
Yes. And we'll remember that there was that part where Wilna, of our presentation, where Wilna specifically referenced risk rating. And one of the issues in risk rating is, of course, your claim history. So without a doubt, if you have lots of claims, of course, it's going to impact your premium increases. Shailesh, thank you so much for your question. Now, the next one, who do we fire this off to? So maybe we're going to fire this off to Wilma. This one is from Johan Harwood. Sorry. And Johan Harwood wants to know, why is property insurance value why does it always include the cost of the land? Is it because banks want to ensure that you're covered for the purchase price of the land and the buildings? And then if you have a fire and your whole building could be lost, but the land is still there. So he's trying to understand, why do we include the land?
Yeah. It's a very good question, Johan. It's one that we get very often. What actually happens is the bank is the owner of the property until it's paid off. They want to make sure that you are adequately insured and that there's no underinsurance or average applicable should you have a total loss. In a case of a valuation, what they also do is they work out building costs per square meter, and that will automatically include the land. They also look at various other areas. What is the demographics, the fittings, all kinds of things that is looked at. But unfortunately, yes, the total value will be included in your sum insured. And that will, to make sure that you are not underinsured when it comes to a claim.
Okay, so I would assume that, we have to make the assumption that there is a complete and utter and total loss. So for all intents and purposes, we could be faced with a situation where we have to scrap the whole property, perhaps relocate elsewhere, and of course we want to make sure that our members are adequately covered for that particular eventuality. Johan, thank you for your question. Now we're going to move on to another one, Wilma, that I think you were the right lady to speak to. This is from a Ricky Pooney. It's once again, and it's around building cover once again. Ricky wants to know, what about solar systems? Can we get all risk for this cover? Or is it specified? How do we treat solar systems?
Ricky, all risk section is items that you take without your home, taking with you when you go on holiday or to the shops, when you drive around, and a solar system is not one of those items. The solar system will be it will be insured with your building's insurance. So it's no need that you have to specify that item. The item will be covered if your building insurance is adequately and your sum insured is adequately insured.
Okay. Thanks, Ricky. So So my next question, I'm going to fire to you, Werner. It's from a Peter Ferns. And Peter wants to know the big one is, when will profit share for members be implemented under short-term insurance?
Thanks, Marlon. That's a good question. So we still a startup business within the bigger PPS fold, and it normally takes a couple of years for short-term insurance to become profitable. We are tracking nicely against our business plans. And as soon as we get profitable, there will be profit share. So what I want to urge members is, if there are members out there with our PPS short-term, please join us. The bigger scale we get, the quicker we will get profitable and we'll be able to do profit share. And then we're also working with group on some potential solutions that will communicate shortly. I want to have more detail around that might be interesting to our members.
Absolutely. Thanks for that, Werner. I'm aware of some of these potential solutions, and all I want to tell our viewers is that profit share is going to become a lot more sexy, a lot more attractive in the not too distant future. Peter, I hope you answered your question. The next question, and I think Malcolm, you're going to have to tackle this one because it's very possible that you are one of the best users or supporters of the chauffeur service. So Esther Lowe wants to know, how many times a year can I use my chauffeur services?
Thanks, Marlon. So between the chauffeur service and the Take Me Home service, you have 6 free trips a year. You can use them interchangeably between the two services, depending on your needs.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for that question, Esther, and thank you for the answer, Malcolm. So Ricky's keeping us very busy. We're gonna get to Ricky in a minute. I see there's 2 questions from Amber de Oliveira, and this one we probably gonna have to fire. I think I'm gonna fire this back to you, Malcolm. So 2 questions. The first question is, please confirm if marital status has an impact on your premium for vehicles.
So I'm going to pass that one across to Vilma, if you don't mind, Marlon, just because you answered the risk question in the broader presentation.
Okay.
And she does believe women have cheap insurance rates.
Yes, absolutely. Amber, to answer your question it will differ from insurance company to insurance company, but mostly it will have an impact on your premium. It might not have a big impact, but it might have an impact. Just think for yourself. A married person doesn't go out that much. They don't drink that much. They don't drive that much. They're more secure.
Not that bad.
So yes, marital status is very important to have the correct details noted, not just for premiums, but also when there's accidents, etc. Then we have the details of the other person. We like to update it. So yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Vilma, and apologies to our viewers for my colleague's shocking product knowledge. That is Malcolm, but we're gonna fire another one to him shortly just to keep him on his toes. The second question from Amber was once again reference to profit share, and I think Werner, you covered that quite nicely. We can tell you that financially PPS short-term is doing quite well, and we're very close to being able to offer short-term insurance at least to offer profit share under our short-term insurance. Then Ricky is keeping us busy. Ricky wants to know, Ricky Pooney once again, can brokers use the app on behalf of their clients? And who do we give that to? Anybody? Don't put up your hand at the same time. Who wants to take that one?
I'm more than willing to take that one, Marlon. At this stage, no. Brokers is not going to use the app on behalf of clients. We are currently busy developing a different app that we are looking at, a portal for our brokers, but that's at this stage, it's just watch the space. But the app that for the value-added services at this stage is for a member only. Unfortunately, the brokers cannot use that at this moment.
Yeah, and of course, just to add to what you're saying, Wilma, I think on the tech space, there's a lot happening inside of our PPS. Our profit application for one is going to include a lot of enhanced functionality in the digital space. So we encourage our viewers and our members and our brokers alike to please visit that section from our website. Now, the next question. And I think that's all you, Wilma, for the home stretch. It's from a Nazrin Razak. Nazrin wants to know, how does PPS look at a policy where the registered owner of the vehicle differs to that of the insured?
Yes.
So I think it's that nominated driver versus owner.
Yeah. We look at these on an individual basis. We must always remember insurable interest, which is a very important part. But it is very common that a father will buy a vehicle for a child. The child is still staying with the father, or the child is actually living at university, etc. We will insure those. We do look at them. But like I've mentioned, we will look at it individually, because the last thing that we want to do is your neighbor putting somebody's vehicle because he can't get credit on his policy, or trying to get a better premium, etc. So again, I'm saying we look at these individually, we will underwrite it, and we will insure where it's adequately and the information is correct.
Okay, thanks, Wilma. We're busy running out of time. So I think I have to take one more question before we move to our close. I think we're down to about 4 more minutes. So the next one again, Wilma, is from Amber. The same Amber de Oliveira. And Amber wants to know, if a client increases their excess, will it decrease the premium?
Absolutely, Amber. That is why we've got brokers and we've got consultants ready to assist you. You can choose to up your excess, and your premium will most definitely come down. As long as you are aware of this and that you request for this, we are willing to assist you in that regard.
Okay, awesome, guys. We've got to wrap it up, and I see there's a lot of questions coming in hard and fast. We just don't have enough time to get through all of them. I am going to encourage you, though. There are contact details on the page. Mine is not so important, specialist support services, but definitely you want to keep a lookout for the PPS Short-Term Insurance contact details. So if you have any other questions, please fire it off directly to them. Alternatively, speak to your financial advisor or broker. Viewers, we want to say thank you for your participation today. We hope that you found the session informative and that you are in a better position to understand your short-term insurance schedule and some of the trends that we expect will shape the short-term insurance industry in the near future. As with most things, with short-term insurance, you get what you pay for. As I said in the second installment of our series, specifically I said goedkoop is often duurkoop. And of course, with STI, this is certainly the case. So next time you review yours, pay particular attention to the schedule. It includes cover amounts, conditions, endorsements, and excesses. And in so doing, you will bring certainty and the peace of mind of knowing that the possessions that you've worked so hard for are properly protected. Our session today draws to a close our 4-part financial education series on future-proofing the graded professional. We hope that in some way we've empowered you to make more informed decisions about your financial planning and to take control of your money and your finances. Viewers, please be on the lookout for our webinar summary, which we'll be emailing to you by tomorrow. It will include links to the previous 3 sessions, and included will be the recordings and a short questionnaire. Please, it's vital that you complete this questionnaire. We really need your feedback in order to make future sessions better. Then thank you to Wendy, Rudy, and the whole Mailing Guardian team for providing the platform to connect with our members. Thank you to the marketing, communication, and creative teams from PPS who provided support. Thank you to our presenters and the hundreds of viewers that have joined us over the last few weeks. A special word of thank you to our members and to our intermediaries who've been following and participating throughout the series. We are grateful for your support. So I think in closing, viewers, remember that success is always better shared. And at PPS, we see you professionals. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay covered and invested with PPS. Bye-bye.